Warning, this game has offensive stuff. You were warned. Welcome back, everyone, and we are back with Tiny Bunny. This is we're on episode 3, but this is probably part 5 on the channel? I don't remember. It'll be in the title. And last time we were left with so many questions, such as, what does Anton's dad do? Are they in witness protection? What is Polina actually a good child or a person? And how did Anton's glasses get onto the windowsill? And it made us question whether or not Anton's actually schizophrenic or not. And on some little bit of bad news, but also good news, there's no longer a bully. Well, at least one of the bullies are gone. Because Semyon went missing that night. And now he's on the child missing board. And what happened to him probably is what happened to Vova. And what I'm thinking is that there's a serial killer on the loose. But I'm also wondering if maybe Anton is responsible for maybe something, maybe a violent outburst. Because it was kind of leading to that with Katrina, or whatever. Anyways, hopefully we'll find some more answers as we go on through, instead of just finding more questions. He's the one who hated Barbara. Oh, now there's going to be rumors? You think he did it? I've heard he's a weirdo. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses. Semyon was clutching them in his fist while I was getting beaten up. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Sinyoma suddenly got a guilty conscience and returned my glass in such a strange way. I was shocked but kept walking toward the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. That photo still stood before my eyes. Semyon has gone missing. Semyon is gone. His fat fingers will never get to my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He will never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Semyon to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son, or grandson, and he went through the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such brutal fashion? I didn't know the answer, or I was just scared of it. Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Polina, the girl with the violin, was like a mountain spring, like well water that you gulp down, pressing the lips against the zinc outer ring of the bucket, and can't get enough. Remembering our walk yesterday cooled off my head. Polina's hatred toward dogs was understandable, was still alarming, absolutely true, but understandable. She a little bit crazy, just saying. Could a charming girl like her really be nesting something just repulsive inside her heart? Everybody does. I immediately remembered my dad's shady past that recently resurfaced. A person I idolized was the reason for us moving to this bleak countryside. At least he was according to my mom's screams that were coming from the other side of the wall. Still, Polina tried to defend me from a delinquent gang, even as she failed at it. She was pleading for Romka to leave me alone and gather my belongings that were strewn around the forest while fighting tears. And when those bastards tried to drag her away, she resisted with all her might she had in her fragile body. In the end, she was the one to find my house, lost among the taiga, and told my dad that I lied there alone in the dark, abandoned in the middle of the forest after the beating. Maybe I'm being too harsh on her. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. And there's Ramka and Biasha. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, smirking like the xenomorphs from the Alien. Oh, hey, there it is! I immediately felt larvae of fear writhe in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Romka and Biasha after what happened yesterday, especially since Semyon suddenly went missing. Polina seemed eager to talk to me, but her expression soured after noticing the aforementioned duo, and she walked past, leaving me a single sorry look. I entered the classroom and went toward the last row. All the chatter suddenly died down, so I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. They looked at me with a mortifying mix of pity, ridicule, and derision. I looked like a scientist looks at an ugly representative of a newfound species of worms. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top, my fists clenched. It felt like I was the one who was disappeared into snowy forest, and my desk finally used for something worthwhile. Semyon's empty chair stood in front of me. The chair that once belonged to Vova was gathering dust somewhere in another classroom. What is that? Every boy my age I knew had something like this in his arsenal. Powder firecrackers that blow up with a very loud sound. Especially inside an archway. It said that they're produced in China, that a single one of them can blow your fingers off if you light them up and clutch it in your hand. Especially the black Corsair type. They won't be enough to blow up plastic soldiers, but when it comes to stuff made of plaster, they should work. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Baberin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned to by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed as if someone just unpaused a movie.
Бабушка Бабурина такой кипиш устроила, когда он домой не явился.
Baberin's grandma made such a fuss when he didn't come home.
Сначала в школу прибежала,
First she ran to
потом
school, then
мне
called the
туда.
cops. Yes. Katja snuck a cunning glance at me and leaned into her neighbor and whispered something. Yeah, of course she is that bitch. Girls from the second row also leaned in and shared something with them too, whispers and nods. I kept catching her stare on myself, her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt the need to watch me because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent." The delinquents turned around and stared at me in silence. Their looks were dripping with malice. But why? What did I do to them? Their friend went missing and they're still focused on me. Suddenly I noticed Buyashis drilling a hole in my nose with his eyes. I felt like he was about to point his finger at me with shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone looked. Babarin snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer! But he remained silent as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Buyashis knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me what. Roma gave me a meaningful glance as if reminding me of his promise. My aching temple reminded me of it. I needed to stay away from Polina. As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt.
Не надо быть Колумбо, чтобы догадаться.
You don't have to be Columbo to solve this.
Кто на Бабурина
Who held a
зуб
grudge?
ел?
Oh my god, you're so stupid! Maybe. We're going to believe Anton's innocent for now. Because he got some stuff on his mind, you know? We don't know if he had a psychotic break or not.
Кто его вчера
Who
ударил?
hit him yesterday?
Вы
Bullied him.
издеваетесь? А
Bullied!
после?
I bullied him? Anton bullied him. You sure about that? Are you sure about that? The metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle and that made the other kids shudder. Yeah, that's right. Look back at the freaking blackboard. Yeah, that's right. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch a wind of that change. Romka and Biasha looked around and winced in contempt. Too bad that they weren't afraid of me like everybody else.
Да прикуси ты.
Shut it.
Бабурин, небось,
I bet you
папу
Babarin just got a
позвал, дебильно.
whipping from his old hag and ran off.
Скоро найдется.
They'll find him soon.
Найдется. Ага.
They'll find him, alright.
Во овраге.
in a ravine
Со
with his
вспоротым
stomach cut
брюхом.
open. I gulped. I imagined Simeon on a snowy blanket, his face white with, like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See? I could almost hear his condescending tone. It's all your fault. But why was Semyon the only one get his just desserts for bullying me? Were all of them supposed to disappear? Romka, Biasha, Katya, along with every laughing onlooker? Of course, Semyon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Belina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Belina found me with her eyes, gave me a short nod, and went to her seat. Katya rushed to her neighbors again like a lab rat that saw a treat and started whispering, switching her gaze between me and Belina. Oh my god, this bitch. I hate people like her. Everyone hates people like her. Why do people like talking to people like her? Oh, what a bitch. Maybe I'm being too harsh on her. Am I being too harsh on her? Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, she's a bully. She's a bully. Yes. The wingers still announced the start of school. Alright, stop messing around. Class, stand up. You too, Petrov. Yes, ma'am. Lilia Pavanova went to her desk, followed by the policeman in uniform. It was the man that visited us just recently. Tall, and his stare so sharp that you could get cut on it. Hello there, kids. Salute! You can sit down, kids. This is Senior Lieutenant Konstantin with the I think I got it. He's going to ask you a couple of questions and give you a small PSA. The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through the hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. His brown eyes felt around the classroom looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck, and an icicle had lodged in my gut. Is it true that Barbara got killed by a serial killer? Shush! Katerina. Let the adults ask the questions here. We're all scared. Maybe the killer is somewhere close. Maybe they're even sitting among us. Wow, you are just not making this easy to just... You're not making this easy for me, are you? Her sly stare was directed at me. Tikhoganov stepped in between the rows of desks and started walking at the excruciatingly slow pace, pressing his fingers against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down. Breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a stern voice.
Anton?
Да.
Yeah.
Встань, Петров.
My muscles turned to stone. I got up, unglued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all my joints creak in the process. I only wish that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a ball there. The officer stared at me as if he was about to lock pairs of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold those bracelets are to touch. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center, where tens of Semyons would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не знаю. Я тут ни при чем.
I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this.
А тебя никто и не обвиняет.
Nobody is accusing you of anything. Not true. That's just not true at all.
Пока что.
Fuck you, dick. Only then I noticed a file that said a case number in his hand. It had a gray cover made from a rough carton. It flopped onto a desk like a guillotine blade that slid down someone's neck. With a measured motion, Hovdanov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of the documents and photos that showed prints on the snow. They looked like animal prints.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Have you talked to Semyon Baburin before?
Я знал его всего
I
один день.
only knew him for a day.
Все знают. Петров его.
Everyone knows that Petrov hated him.
Ненавидел.
Shut up. Shut. Oh my. I just wanna just backhand you, man. I know I can't, but damn, you really make me just want to backhand you. I turned red. You ugly bitch. Inside and out. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheek. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster.
Мы повздорили вчера.
We had a fight yesterday,
Но он первый
but he
начал.
started it,
Я его ударил.
so I hit him.
Сильно?
How hard did you hit him?
Да нет.
Not that hard. I mean, I waved my hand indecisively. Hanov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lila Pafanova came to my rescue.
Бабурин
Baburin is a troubled teen, a true pain in the rear,
Сам ко всем лезет.
always picking fights with other kids. And yet you do nothing? The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out on the file.
Это твое?
Is this yours? I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured my greedily with their eyes. It felt like even the writers on the portrait squinted at me in suspicion.
Мое.
Yes.
В лесу наш.
We found it in the
Там же
forest.
тракторист,
In the
что
area where
снег
tractor
убирал,
driver
последний
who was
раз
plowing
видел
snow there
Бабурина.
last saw Baburin. I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka ransacked my school bag. This notebook probably just got lost when we were in the bushes. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnesses that could testify to Semyon and I walking in different directions after that. I looked toward the boys, hopeful. Romka, who sat behind Hovnov, put a finger to his lips. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick at his nose. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, "Snitches get stitches," and shit like that. Well, yeah. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Semyon took them away yesterday, but now they're...
Так что ты делал
So what
вчера
were
в
you
лесу,
doing in the
Антон?
forest yesterday, Anton?
Я в школу через лес
I go to
хожу.
school through the forest.
Могла
It could have
выпустить
easily
пулю.
fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing this half-truth.
Будь
Be
осторожен.
careful out there. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher said,
Класс.
"Class, the officer will now tell you about some rules you should follow, like when a bear attacks."
Так маньяк
So the killer does
все-таки.
exist. Probably, but damn, you are going about this the wrong way, bitch.
Пока мы ничего вам сказать не можем.
I got it. I know what your name is now. I know what your name is. It's not Katya. It's not ex-Katarina. It's not Katarina. It's Cutthroat Bitch. That's your name.
Но есть преступник
Whether
или нет,
the
вы
criminal
должны
really
четко
exists or
помнить
not,
о
you should be
собственной
mindful of your
безопасности.
safety.
Вас бережет милиция.
The police,
Вас
your
опекают
parents, your
родители и
teachers all watch
учителя.
over you.
Но в первую очередь защищать
But no one-
тебя должны вы сами.
But no one guard you better than yourself.
Итак,
Alright,
кто там что
any
хотел
questions? A stockade of arms rose from the desk. The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policeman with questions. In an attempt to calm down the chorus, he moved toward the blackboard. The gray file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it, my breathing so rapid that it might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were catching officers' every word. Only Romka was saying something to Biasha. Lilia Pavanova was staring into the window, fighting back yawns.
Объявлять комендантский час, причин пока нет.
What? As soon as I touched the folder, Avnov lashed at me with his eyes. My hand instinctively moved away as if the stare actually hurt. The officer just kept staring at me without saying a word, without making me squirm under the weight of this uncomfortable silence and the searing looks of my classmates. Listen, guy, if you're going to put something on my desk, you gotta expect me to look at it. And then he suddenly continued his speech as if nothing ever
Слишком
happened.
мало времени прошло с момента исчезновения вашего одноклассника. Мы все уверены, что он найдется живым и здоровым. Но сразу после уроков вы должны идти домой и отчитываться перед...
I tried. I tried.
Больно ты любопытный, Петров.
Indeed.
И еще раз.
Let me say this again.
Если вы
If you
заметите
see anyone
в поселке
suspicious in a
кого-то
village near the
неважно,
school or in the
возле
forest
школы
trail,
или на
contact the
лесной
police
тропинке,
immediately.
Сразу телефон-то знаете?
You know our number, right? 02.
Спасибо, ребята.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Спасибо, Лилия
Thank you,
Павловна.
Lilia Pavanova.
И это.
And, we'll find your
Одноклассника
classmate.
вашего мы найдем.
Yeah, right. A thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe you'll be able to piece them together. Like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason. I couldn't control them. I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people. How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into the thin air with riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the whole Keen Semyon? Should I tell the officer about her? What if the lives of other kids depend on this? On the cute... and Volva too. Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they'll start whispering behind my back, or what's even worse, think I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I doubt someone like him would approve of cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquent sitting in front of me. My hand was glued to the
До
desk.
свидания, лейтенант.
Havanov has been saying goodbye to Lilia Pavanova. He was about to leave. It'll be too late soon. Stay silent or tell them. Stay silent or tell them. We don't really know if it was if it was just our imagination. We don't know anything yet. Ah! What do I do? Classmates went silent at its time as someone muted the sound on the TV. They followed me with their eyes the whole time when I was passing between the rows. Judgmental looks. I felt like I was in the scopes of mini sniper rifles. I screeched through the barricade made of desks looking for Melina. But I stumbled into my new buddies instead. Ramka swaggered up to me.
Решил сдать нас ментам?
Decided to rat us out to the cops?
Но я ничего
I
не
didn't say
сказал.
anything.
Да то
But sure as fuck thought about it, huh? I didn't say anything, you dickheads! Ramka towered over me, breathing out a faint smell of tobacco.
Ты сильно ошибаешься, думая, что без Сёмы у тебя настанут
You're very
веселые
wrong if you
деньки.
think that without Simya you'll have a better time here.
Мы тебя
We'll make this
сосвету
place hell for
живём,
you.
понял?
Got it. But why?
До скорого, очкарик.
See you, Four Eyes. My head tilted forward from his slap.
Вот ты лох!
What a loser. I was surprised to find a note stuck to my back during the break. It said, "Kick me." My nightmare clearly wasn't about to end. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. The forest still held out its gnarly claws toward the village, and the wind whipped out its flags wreathed from powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Oya. Volva Semya's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board. Round-faced Senya hasn't returned home, too. But something did change. I could see how different the looks of my classmates were. They meant with the new portion of pokes and insults, contempt, mockery, and loneliness became my faithful companions. But most importantly, A shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats or humiliation? Or I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. I'll be waiting at a cul-de-sac near the dressing room. Come alone. Inside was a message and a beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting at a dead end near the dressing room. Come alone. Drunk on the sudden call, I immediately started walking, look over my shoulder from time to time, make sure nobody was following me. It's a trap. It's a trap. Even though I suspected it could be another trap set up by Romka and Biasha at first, this buzzing thought soon left my thought. The two of them didn't have enough combined brain power to fake Polina's note so carefully. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around the corner. As soon as I did that, I ran into somebody inside the dark. No.
Ой!
Ow! Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided into my feet. Polina puffed her cheeks in exaggerated anger. Petrov, have you lost your sight completely? I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопилась.
Sorry, I was in a rush.
Ты
Were
меня
you waiting
ждала?
for me? Did
Что
something happen?
случилось?
Polina's attitude changed from fake anger to softness. She stood there silent, probably picking out the right words. She had a worried and sad look in her eyes, as if she hoped that I continue this conversation and stop us from drowning in this awkward silence. But I didn't say a word. I was just staring at her from trembling lips. Finally, Polina heaved a deep sigh and started talking weakly.
Антон, скажи, ты на меня сильно злишься?
Tell me, are you mad at me? I couldn't reply before she continued.
Ох, ну конечно сильно.
Of course
Что за
you are.
дурацкий вопрос такой?
What's with the stupid question?
Прости, пожалуйста, я не
I'm so
хотела,
sorry.
чтобы
I
так
didn't mean
вышло,
for that to
честно.
happen, honest.
Когда Пятифонов... Это ты,
When... Blah, blah,
Собачку.
blah, blah, blah. When the abuser kicked the doggy.
Это словно не
It felt
я
like I
была,
wasn't
понимаешь?
myself, you know? Oh, that's what she's talking about. Oh, yeah, that was a little weird. Also kind of a bitch move because that dog is cool. She sniffed, and even though it was already quite dark outside, I could notice her ocean-colored eyes sparkle. I don't want to be that guy, but so far everyone in this game has either been a complete dick or a murderer. Like, the only person who is slightly not has been Polina and the Fox Girl. And the Fox Girl hasn't even been that much of trouble than Polina is, to my mind, anyways. If that makes any sense. Like, for example, the Fox was talking about masks that humans wear all the time, which makes sense considering everything that's been going on in this game. And considering how Polina was smiling when the stray dog got kicked, that's a little concerning. But I understand why she hates stray dogs because of what happened to her grandpa. But it's still kind of weird. It's like a real big red flag for me, you know?
Да, так нельзя.
I know that it's wrong.
Нельзя смеяться над тем, как издеваются над
It's wrong laughing
животными.
at animal abuse. Yeah, so it's some say it's serial killer tendencies, maybe?
Не знаю даже, что ты обо мне
I don't even
подумал.
want to think about your opinion of me must be.
Но я ничего не могу с собой поделать, Антон.
But I just can't help it, Anton.
Стоит мне подумать
As
о
soon as I
дедушке.
remember my grandpa and the horrors he had to
Вижу в тот
endure on
день,
the night
когда на него
when he got
напала
attacked
эта
by
стая
that pack of
бродячих
stray
псов,
dogs,
словно
my mind
затуманивается.
becomes foggy. Polina's notebook in my hand was still waiting for me to return to its rightful owner, but I just couldn't find the right moment to
Ты,
do that.
наверное, считаешь, что я чокнутая,
Probably
да?
think I'm crazy, right? She looked at me with hopeful eyes while I was absentmindedly going over all the crazy stuff that my subconscious was producing lately. I clearly wasn't qualified to judge someone's sanity. True.
Мне не всегда
Sometimes I
удается
just can't
себя
control
контролировать.
myself. You don't think she killed No. No. No, 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 that's ridiculous. No. But what if? What if? Hold on, give me a second, I'm thinking here. From what I know, Volva was in another class. Why has none of his friends come up at all? Or acquaintances, anything. Not even people who bullied him, rumors, nothing. Nobody's barely noticed. Why is that? And also, as soon as Semyon, like the day of Semyon bullying Anton, he disappears. And then, and this is a large leap for me, Polina laughing at the dog's abuse. You know how they say like most serial killers start off with animals. What if that's her? And then she progressed onto more harder targets. Just maybe. Now I know that's a big leap. I know it sounds nuts. But what if? Everything's just circumstantial right now and I hate it.
Но я точно не причинила бы кому-то вреда, слышишь?
I never harm anyone. I didn't accuse you of doing that. Well, I know I just did, but Anton didn't accuse you of doing that.
Не то что этот садист Ромка.
Not like that sadist Romka.
Антон, прошу,
Please,
держись от него подальше.
stay away from him, Anton. Something clicked in my head. I stared at Polina with suspicion.
Неделю назад, во время драки, ты называла его по-другому.
You called him differently a week ago when we were fighting.
Ромочкой.
Romochka.
Скажи, вы что, встречаетесь?
Say, are you two dating? Ooh. Polina joked it as if struck by lightning.
Еще чего?
No way.
Этот урод
That
ко
asshole
мне
stuck
приклеился,
to me
как
like a
банный
leech.
лист. Такие, как он, не то что намеков. Грубых слов не понимают.
People like him are not even deterred by direct insults. Her voice became calmer when she noticed the bruises and the cuts on my face.
Прости еще раз, что так вышло.
Again, I am very sorry that happened.
Я
Well,
правда надеялась, что смогу помочь тебе.
I really thought I would be able to help you.
Зря я поверила, что у таких подонков может быть какой-то там кодекс чести.
It was my mistake to think that bastards like them can have any sort of moral code.
Вот. У
Here,
меня есть для тебя
I have a
подарок.
present for you. What are you doing? She unbuttoned the top of her jacket and instantly got embarrassed after noticing my stunned look. This is... What is that? Thank God. Thank God. Good. Then she took an amulet on a thick leather thread with a big animal's claw of her neck and held on to it to me.
Этот оберег подарил мне дедушка.
Grandpa gifted me this charm.
Говорит, он
He said
помогает
that it
от
helps
всяких
against crazy and
бесноватых и
possessed.
одержимых. Он ему от одного
He
шамана
got it from a
достался.
certain shaman. Ah, some
Можешь
black
не
magic
верить,
time from the witch
но
doctor.
когда дедушка забыл его надеть, с ним и случилось то несчастье.
You don't have to believe me, but the tragedy that befell him happened on the only day when he forgot to wear it. I snuck another glance at the intensely scratched claw of the unknown
А
beast.
чей он? Ну, в смысле,
And who did it
коготь.
belong to? The claw, I mean.
Даже не знаю.
Probably a wabbit. A wabbit.
Может быть, медведь,
Bear,
а
a
может,
tiger,
и
maybe?
тигра. Кого только не
You
встретишь
can
в
find all
нашем
sorts of
лесу.
animals in a forest.
В любом случае, пожалуйста, прими
Anyway,
вместе
please
с
accept it
моими
along with my
извинениями.
sincere apology. If we refuse, she might take offense to that. If I take it, maybe more imaginations. Or maybe because Polina... I'm gonna take it. I don't see why not.
Если для тебя это так важно.
Well, this is so important for you.
Хорошо,
Alright,
давай
let's try to start
попробуем начать
over.
все с чистого листа.
I carefully took hold of the amulet with a free hand. It emanated Polina's warmth and the charming aroma of blackberry. I hung it around my neck and hid it under the collar of my shirt. Along with this gift, I got a weird feeling of determination, as if the amulet would be able to change my life. Polina and I smiled at the same time, both of us feeling the ice wall between us slowly thaw.
Спасибо, Антон.
Thank you.
Для меня это
really
действительно
means a
много
lot to me.
значит.
Polina saw to me with her eyes and clicked her tongue.
А знаешь, на что ты похож, Антоша?
Do you know what you look like?
На блюзовую импровизацию.
Like blues improv. What is that? I blinked in bewilderment.
Это как?
What do you mean?
Для меня все
I always
люди с
associate
чем-то
people I know with
ассоциируются.
something.
И для меня.
I do that
Но
too,
не с
but
музыкой же.
why music?
Вот как раз с
It can't be
музыкой.
anything other than music.
Бывают люди гитарные соло.
Some people are
Или
like the
барабанный
guitar
бой.
solos, some are
Или
drums, people like our
военный
Lilia
марш, как наша
Pavlova, our war
Лилия
marches.
Павловна. А ты такой
And you're so
задумчивый,
thoughtful, so mysterious,
таинственный,
sometimes even a bit
иногда
sad.
немного печальный. Ты точно блюз.
You're definitely blues. Well, gee, thanks, lady.
А почему импровизация?
And what happened to the improv part?
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия, какой темп возьмет.
It's when the listener has no idea where the melody will go, what tempo it will adopt. Of course, some of the things Polina said went completely over my head, but I couldn't stop looking at her smile, light like a breeze in May, and her eyes deep and blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и вкус.
One needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you.
Это не какая-то там эстрада.
You're not some pop music.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот блюз.
I don't think I even know what blues is. Polina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful.
Не произноси при
Don't
мне
say
такие
something like
слова.
that to my face.
Я тебе обязательно
I'll make sure to
дам
give you
кассету.
consent.
Раньше мне дедушка из города столько
Grandpa
музыки
used to bring me
привозил. И
So much
джаз,
music from the city,
свинг,
jazz, swing, and
классику.
classical too.
Это он подметил, что у меня
He was the one to
склад ума как
notice
у
my musical
музыканта.
mindset.
Я еще совсем маленькой.
I wish I had ears like yours,
А мне бы твои глаза.
and I love to have your eyes. I tensed up, worried that she was making fun of me, but Polina shook her head.
Да-да, я серьезно.
No, I'm serious. You have the eyes of an artist.
Смотришь на
You're so good
вещи,
at picturing things. I can't do that.
так не умею.
No! It's Cutthroat Bitch! Cutthroat Bitch walked past us with a trademark frosty glare. We dove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь,
You understand why we're hiding here, right?
вот
Because of people like her.
как она. А Катька как
And what kind of melody is Cutthroat Bitch? Bruno flashed me a sly smile.
скрип, не
The
смотри.
squeaking sound of unoiled door hinges. I like that.
Знаешь, такой
You know,
мерзкий
the,
дискант.
the nasty descent. Cutthroat Bitch didn't hear her whispers, but she suddenly glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it to my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side had the name of the owner and 2 words: friends only. Oof!
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвать.
Curiosity killed the cat, you know.
Прости, это
I'm
анкета.
sorry, this is a questionnaire?
Заполнял когда-нибудь?
Have you ever filled one?
Мгм.
I lied that I had. In reality, a girl classmate from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was a sign of friendship. And maybe something even more. Something I only had a vague idea about. You can fill in mine if you want. Ooh, get it, Anton. Get there. Get there! My heartbeat quickened. I do, thank you. Luna giggled. Actually, there are so many secrets there. You better be off not knowing. You'd be better off not knowing what we girls think. She reached out for a notebook playing with me. I tossed my findings into a free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair touched my face, tickling my nose with its silly locks. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world, fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it, steal it for myself. I felt dizzy, but gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Hovnov. Your questionnaire is an important piece of evidence, so I'm afraid I'll have to confiscate it for further examination. Luna covered her mouth with that rounded and fake horror. And what are the implications of concealing evidence? We'll decide that in the course of our investigation. I surrender, Mr. Policeman. Just promise you won't read anything. It's full of sensitive information. I'm afraid I'll have to investigate whether someone is in love with Mr. Petrov. Okay, you're laughing a little bit too hard on that one. Laughing a little bit too hard on that one. Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with all the aroma of her hair and milky skin that looked almost transparent, with tiny threads of veins running under it. And swear that you will keep this information private. I swear on my police badge. And now we need to hurry. I took out the notebook during class. Without utmost care, as if it was some sort of fragile treasure. Oh, with utmost care. As if it was some sort of fragile treasure. Wait, what did I say? Skimmed through it, reading to people's preferences. Okay. I was quite surprised to discover Romka's jerky handwriting inside. His letters bulged out of his cells as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. DuckTales. Don't trust, don't fret, don't ask. Stallone, Schwarzenegger. Buying a BMW. Hanging out. February, shove, 6B, Roma, Piatifan, Biasha. Huh. Fearsome Romka found time for something so silly. I chuckled into my fist after I found out that Romka's favorite cartoon is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Somewhere in the distance, a teacher was reciting pieces of Andrew Snapper. I paid them no mind. Polina's page was decorated with flower drawings, clippings from the Cool Girl magazine. Her favorite musician? Schubert. Her best friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violin, like I expected, but much more mysterious. Listening. Can such a mundane process really be someone's hobby? I looked at Polina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with a pen. Anton Petrov, Class 6B. I took a long time to decide my favorite musician until a trendy pop band, Carman, came to mind with the cool dancers in their music videos. Favorite holiday? New Year's. My hobby is drawing. My dream? Going to Disneyland. My hero. My hand moved on its own, writing duh. I stopped at those 2 letters, but what if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, I decided that not everything should be disclosed on paper. That's how Dad turned into Spider-Man. Right on. Your biggest fear, huh? I merely wrote, lose a person who's dear to me. Your phone number. No secret here. Your favorite cartoon. Transformers. I hesitated, gnawing at the pen's cap. Your best friend. I read the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time very important. My answer consisted of 3 letters and filled them in the cells with care. You. You, I repeated when running out of school. Refreshing frosty air made my cheeks turn beet red. It was bright outside and the sun looked like a whole egg milk yolk. The road looked as if it was silvered, snow sparkled under sunlight. I smiled, squinting from the blind whiteness. There was also something magical in my chest that beckoned me, because friendship can grow into something bigger. And it's Biasha. Hey, what's up with the stupid grin? My numb lips immediately shrank. Biasha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard, his boots restless on the ice. It's not a grin. I tried to go around him, but to no avail. Lady Fortune waved me goodbye, disappearing in the early twilight. In a hurry. A little bit. Dad is waiting for me. I'll shoot him a pager message that you're not coming. My eyes flinched unwittingly. My skin dampened. Let's go. We have small business to discuss. I felt chills run over my body. I didn't like the sounds of that small business. Those words, yeah, okay. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have small business to discuss." Biasha turned around. He looked like an astronaut in his tight hood. If I were to imagine him as a sound, he'd be deafening whistle. A deafening whistle. A signal given by someone who stands watch. To my demise, there was nobody at the backyard. Apart from the grin-faced Ramka. He stood there, his feet wide apart, as with his right hand hidden behind his back. Ramka's dry lips were tightly pursed. He kept shooting glances at me as he looked around. From the bottom of my heart, I hoped that Ramka hadn't seen me together with Polina. There he is. I can see that, idiot. Well, hello there. What do you want? He slowly took out a thin, carnivorously shiny blade from behind his back. A knife, a steel butterfly of death that flies toward the victim's heartbeat. I stepped back instinctively and ran my back into Biasha. Excuse me. Ramka's minions pushed me back. We wanted to know. Do you have any hard feelings for me or Biasha? Ramka started picking on his yellow nail, looking at me with an evil smirk on his face. Well, there in the forest, we kind of roughed you up. It's just our poor upbringing, you know? Yeah, not as cultured as you city folk. So we get feisty sometimes. I nodded, my eyes glued to the knife. Say, did I by any chance go too hard on you last time? Not really. Wonderful. I almost got worried that I damaged your brain and you forgot about the lesson I taught you. I remember. The blade glowed under the setting sun and Ramka's eyes had the same evil glow. He stepped toward me. His knife traveled inches away from my coat. One movement of steel could cut into the cloth and he pushes deeper. A little bird told us that you were snooping about Polina again. Yeah, cutthroat bitch, I bet. I was so scared that it took me a while to remember who Polina was. My brain was malfunctioning, my knees were shaking. Yep, cutthroat bitch. Suddenly, our class reps slowly walked up Ronka from behind. I see you boys are getting along quite well. Fuck you.
За мной должок, Катька.
I owe you one. Cutthroat bitch. Oh, no need to thank me, Rom. I'm always fighting for true love. True love, huh? What a cutthroat bitch. I'll kill you, I swear.
Так, я не
I can't hear you. Were you near Polina or not?
Где мы?
Well, we didn't hang out or anything.
болтать
Now only
корешками, когда я
the only thing hanging out here will be your guts when I cut open your stomach. The blade slid across my sleeve with its dull side and reached my collar. The wind made my face cold, but the bead of sweat still trickled from my temple.
Наверное, мне надо объяснить так, чтобы ты
I guess I need to explain it in a way you'll understand. The split up handle of the blade spun into a dangerous dance, just like helicopter blades that sweep away everything in the way. I tried to dodge, but after taking a step backward, I slipped and fell on my butt. If waiting for this opportunity, Polina's amulet lunged from under the collar toward the blade. Ah, crap baskets! The leather cord prevented a claw from piercing the assailant's neck, and the charm fell to my chest with a thud. I expected to be cut so badly that I ended up choking on my own blood. But for some reason, Romka just stood there, staring at me. He had his knife ready to cut, but his eyes were fixated on the bubble hanging from my neck. He growled something evil under his breath. Polina's gift was driving Romka crazy, but it tied his hands at the same time. The pause lasted so unnaturally long that it made Biasha frown in confusion. The sound of creaking window opening up came from above. The rush brought my adrenaline fade away, and the piercing pain escaped my mouth in the form of a pitiful scream. Robert came to his senses, and when it was already far away, so he shouted his dreadful warning at me at my back.
Попробуй еще раз позабудь,
Don't you dare forget again.
Антоша!
The aftertaste of the horrible water I drank down my meds with lingered in my mouth. My thoughts were focused on Polina.
В общем, я сегодня книжку читала, там ребята учились в школе, прям как ты ходишь в школу, и они в школу ходили. Вот, и у них был какой-то праздник.
I wandered around the house feeling intoxicated and nodded to everything my sister said without trying to discern her words. Oya was talking non-stop at times, lifting her heads and laughing, and only to then suddenly go quiet and give me Mom's signature gnarly look.
А?
I was yanked out of the prison of my own mind where seething thoughts back to my brain like heartbeats stopping me from coming back to reality. I stared back. Oya looked at me like a mini version of my mom right now. Well, to be precise, she looked like the person Mom turned into when we moved here, with her intimidating posture and her eyebrows directed toward the ceiling.
Ты меня не слушал?
You weren't listening to me, were you? She tried spitting out those words at me, copying facial expressions of the person she spent almost all of her free time with. For a moment, I felt like the light Oya exuded all these years waned and wavered in the wind of prolonged changes. Very soon, my beautiful princess would turn into a dragon that was once guarding her princely tower. That thought was much scarier to me than any other horror sneaking up to me from the future. Sorry, Oya. I didn't want to make you mad, I just got lost in thought. I looked around the room, my gaze jumping from one object to another, like a hungry beast trying to find anything that could distract Oya.
А давай в приставку поиграем.
Let's play the console. Oya pouted, but there was a spark of interest in her small emerald eyes. The snow screen's ice shard inside started thawing.
А как же второй Джо?
And what about the second controller? It's not working.
А папе починить?
And Dad has no time to fix it.
Может,
We can play the light gun.
в ковбоев или уток?
What do you want to play?
Хочешь?
Cowboys? Ducks?
Ты лучше меня играешь.
You're better than me at both.
Да ладно
Oh,
тебе,
come on.
ради целый
You
день
must have been
играла.
practicing the whole time I was away from home. Oya burst out laughing. Her heart was warm once again. How'd you know?
Ты догадался? Я сейчас
But I'm a good shooter now. You already lost.
считаю.
Не на того напала. Включай скорее.
You've picked the wrong fight here. Come on, turn it on. Alright, that's where we're ending it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Later.
You're damn right I killed him! Ah!